Hello and welcome back. What up, YouTube land? Xeno Gaming here with the next episode of my F1 2019 career mode. Here today, we are at Suzuka for the Japanese Grand Prix. Here we are in session 1 at practice 1. No, this is practice 2 because practice 1 was fully wet. Anyway, I put the AI difficulty up from 103 to 105. I thought I was outperforming my 103 difficulty. But then I got to these practice programs and I just was struggling with it. And as you see, I only could do 2 laps in the race strategy. So for the qualifying, and I couldn't even get within a second on that some of the ERS and the fuel management one. So I'm going back to 103 for the race, but and qualifying. But just before we get into qualifying, we do have to take some engine penalties because the energy store was just getting too low. And because I took that penalty, I also took a penalty on the ICE, which was getting pretty warm. So without further ado, let's get into qualifying. Welcome to qualifying here today for the Japanese Grand Prix. Not really looking forward to this one. Struggled all weekend for pace on the car. Doesn't matter what difficulty setting it's on. Just struggling with the track, especially in the first sector. Just struggling to find pace through there. Anyway, so here's our first lap in qualifying. Back to the 103 difficulty. Coming into the chicane for the first time. Getting a decent run through here. As we now come to the line. And we come through to set a poor lap time in the 1 minute 30s, and we are well and truly off the pace. As you can see, Leclerc also made a meal of his first lap, so he's going to have to go again. But here we go now to start our last lap in qualifying. Coming through now. Oh, we've lost the back end, and well, that's embarrassing. And we don't even get to start our lap. And I got to think it through here. I was thinking how I can get the car turned around far enough back to where I can get enough momentum to start my lap. I was going to turn around here, and then I thought, but then my lap will pretty much be ruined because I'll have no pace coming over the line into turn 1. And I thought, oh, I'll try and go up the track here. And, well, the inevitable happens by going up the track. So, yeah. We had a 20 place grid penalty anyway, so we were going to start from the back anyway, so no big deal. But I am worried about the pace because that first lap I did, there wasn't that bad actually. So pace just isn't there for this Grand Prix, unfortunately. But without, there's only so much. Sometimes just you have your weaker tracks and you have your stronger tracks, and this for me is definitely a weaker track. But anyway, out of Q1 is Romain Grosjean, Daniel Ricciardo, George Russell, Robert Kubica, and myself. So without further ado, let's get into the race. Welcome to the Japanese Grand Prix here today, starting from the back of the grid. We are going to be doing a one-stop strategy today. We're going to start in the medium tyre and go to the soft. We're going to watch out for towards the end of the race, there could be a chance of rain coming in to really spice up things. So that could be really interesting to see what happens. A lot of drivers have grid penalties today. There was a bit of a glitch when the grid happened with drivers' faces being pixelated. But anyway, it should be a interesting one, especially for us starting from the back. Our pace is definitely not that good, so we'll see how far we can move up the grid. Also, we need a good performance because it is Honda's home Grand Prix. So, yeah, that's interesting. But without further ado, let's get into the race. So, 5 red lights. And let's go for the Japanese Grand Prix. Good start for Kubica, Weber, and Kvyat. Everyone drives away from us on the start, so that's alright. We'll just slot in and go through turn 1. And it's a bit of a... Everyone's been held up. And Vettel's on the inside of the track, so I don't know what's happened to Sebastian Vettel. We are up into 18th. We've gotten ahead of Danny Kvyat, so that's good news for us. I think it's a bit of an incident. We've gone wide here, and Kvyat's back up here inside. We're going to go side by side with Danny Kvyat. Kvyat still got the track position. He's going to take the position away from us. So, good racing there from Danny Kvyat to get back into 18th place. We drop back down to P19. So something's happened to Sebastian Vettel, the man who's contending for this title. He's had bad luck in recent races, such as Singapore, where he retired from the lead of the Grand Prix. As we go down the inside of Kvyat again, into the hairpin. And we are able to make that stick. So that's back into 18th place for us. So, yeah, but Vettel, the man who is fighting for this championship with his teammate and Valtteri Bottas, has not had a good start here. And Leclerc is leading from Lewis Hamilton with Max Verstappen in 3rd place. So, with Bottas in 4th. So, Vettel's got it all to do now today if he wants any chance of his championship being in a good position. And anyway, we got here on the end of lap 1. We're getting a good run here on Robert Kubica. We're in the slipstream. We're right behind him. We don't want to be stuck behind the Williams driver for too long. We're going to go down the inside, late making, but we're not far enough down the inside. We've hit him. We've turned him around. Oh my god, tatters there for us, and a safety car's been deployed as well. Oh no, I apologise for that. That's a poor bit of driving by me. Apologise to Mr. Kubica. That's really poor. Thought I could go down the inside. Thought I could outbrake him. Didn't happen. And yeah, just misjudged it. And when I realised I wasn't going to be able to overtake it, I tried to back out of it. Locked the front tyres up. Tried to do everything to stop. I don't know what Grosjean's doing, but he's gone off the track. So something's happened to Roman Grosjean. These cars. Anyway, yeah. So couldn't pull out of it. It was I went for it and it just didn't work out. I thought I was going to be a bit later on the brakes compared to Kubica than I was, and he outbraked me for sure. Anyway, we're stuck behind I think it's Hulkenberg up ahead, who's stuck behind the safety car and he just wasn't driving past it. So this was a really funny moment for us. Because this is important because we've got damage to the front wing and I need to come in to get a replaced front wing, and we're just losing time here behind the safety car there because Hulkenberg, and I didn't want to. You can't overtake under the safety car, and I'm just like, come on, Nico, get past it. It's not hard to overtake the safety car. And finally here he goes around him, and now Raikkonen's stuck behind, but the safety car pulls to the inside, and we are all let through. So that was a bit of a weird moment that Hulkenberg wouldn't overtake the safety car in the first sector. Anyway, now we're coming into the pits. We're going to put on the hard tyre. We're going to change the front wing because it is severely damaged. So that's really unfortunate for our Grand Prix. But we're going to have to make do to best of the situation. If it was up to me in the game, I would be getting a drive-through penalty as well. But anyway, here's a replay of the start to see what happened to Sebastian Vettel. He starts here on the front row. He gets a decent start. Leclerc pulls away slightly, but he pulls in front to Charles Leclerc. Vettel looks down the inside, and Hamilton sweeps around the outside and hits Vettel. And Vettel goes off the track here. As you can see, he doesn't pick up any damage by the looks of things, but he tries to go down the inside from onboard from Vettel, and Hamilton sweeps around. There's a bit of contact, and Vettel is off on the inside, and he's back down to last place. Doesn't touch the wall by the looks of it, so Might be able to get away with some damage there. But here comes Max Verstappen's view, and Bottas also sweeps around the outside of him, but you can just see just a little bit of contact was all it took between Hamilton and Vettel. So a bit of a controversial moment here in the championship. And here's our move against Kubica. I went down for it down the inside and just, too late in the brakes. Turned around. You can see Kvyat lost a bit of his front wing, and Vettel went into the back of Kvyat. So Vettel has actually picked up some damage right there in that moment. But anyway, here we are, the start of lap 5 for the safety car restart. We are in last place, but we are on new set of boots with some cars ahead with damage. So we should be able to make some progress going forward, as especially on the likes of Kubica, and Russell is up the order as well at this stage. But here we are at the end of it, and you can see Vettel, he's got damage to his front wing because he's holding Kvyat. Grosjean and Kubica are all up, as Grosjean goes around the outside of Kubica. Is he going to be able to make it stick? Is Roman, as now they go side by side down the main straight. We're going to jump in Kubica's slipstream, and yes, Grosjean is going to be able to sweep around the outside into turn 1. Kubica is going to have to slot into 19th place, so he loses position. As now Danny Kvyat all over the back of Sebastian Vettel. He's really slow through the first sector as Vettel. You can see how much time we've lost to the cars ahead already. Just from Vettel's pace is being absolutely appalling in this phase of the race. So we now move on to lap 8, and you can see Fiat has finally got past Sebastian Vettel, and he's starting to pull away, but you can see the gap already to the field ahead, to the midfield, rest of the pack ahead, as now we're going to make a move on Robert Kubica, this time a bit more cleaner move on Robert Kubica. We get the back end right out for that hairpin corner, and we move up into 19th place. That was a much cleaner move that time. Didn't hit him, didn't turn him around. So now that 9, Grosjean having a look at Vettel. Vettel's off the track. He's really understeering. Probably lost a lot of downforce on his front wing. I don't know why he didn't come in to get it replaced, to be honest. And if you're struggling this much, as now Grosjean is vulnerable to us actually into the hairpin. He's not going to dive at Vettel, but we're going to dive up the inside of him. We almost go into the back of Sebastian Vettel, but we managed to make the move stick against Romain Grosjean, and Kubica now thinks he can take the advantage of it on the exit of the corner, and he's going to get past Romain Grosjean too. So opportunistic move from the Polish driver, as now we move on to the start of lap 10, and we are right in Vettel's slipstream here, but we don't have the pace down the straight to make a move, as Devon Butler's out of the race. Devon Butler for McLaren has had an issue, and we can't overtake into turn 1 now due to the issue for Devon Butler. As you can see, they're pulled off to the side, race over. So anyway, we're going to try and get past Sebastian Vettel now. He's really, really slow through the first sector. We're going to, especially into this corner, he goes really slow. We're going to try to go around the outside, but I don't have the grip. And now he's going slow. I'm caught on the inside, lose the back end. And Robert Kubica is going to take advantage of it. He goes around the outside of us. Well done, Robert Kubica. Credit to him. Makes a great move around the outside. So he's proving he's still got it at this level, has Kubica. But now we're just going to go right back down the inside into the hairpin. This seems to be our favoured overtaking spot on the track today. Seems like we're struggling to... Oh my god, we almost put it in the wall on the exit of the corner. Now Kubica goes straight back past us. And he loses a bit of momentum there, I'm not sure why. And we are able to get back past into the spoon curve. So great bit of racing between the last drivers on the track, as now, once again, Sebastian Vettel struggling for pace. And we're just going to have to find a way. We're just taking a lot of pain. You can see how far Kvyat already is up the road. We're a little bit wide at this corner trying to go around here. Oh my god, and Kubica's hit us. He's hit us, but we managed to just keep the track position that time. That time it cost Robert Kubica in the end, as we are able to maintain track position. But now you can just see how slow Vettel is through these corners. With the amount of time we gained through the second Degner. As now we're going to have a look into their hairpin. We're losing too much time behind him. We're going to have a look. We're a long way back, but we get up the inside. He turns in, contact at the apex. We were met his front tyres. We did get far enough up the inside, I believe, but we get through, and now Grosjean's going to go through too, because Sebastian Vettel had that kind of poor run off the corner. Moving on to lap 12 now, and you can see the guys on the medium tyres are starting to pit. As Magnussen coming out, we're defending from Grosjean on the inside, and we managed to just keep our position ahead of Romain Grosjean here. So he had DRS on us. Now moving to later into lap 12, and Grosjean will be overtaken by his teammate Kevin Magnussen. here. Yes, there it is. So Magnussen on fresh medium tyres gets the call through from the Haas team to chase after me, and I get a poor run. I was struggling with this corner all weekend. I've always struggled with that corner. Just don't know how to get the power down, especially with that bump that's right in the middle of the last corner. As now Magnussen's going to come down our inside. I don't bother defending. Norris comes out of the inside. I'm just going to let Kevin Magnussen go. He's already made his first stop. He runs a bit deep into the first corner, but he gets the job done. So that's 6th place for Kevin Magnussen. We're still going to make a pit stop in this race. I don't believe the hard tyres will go to the end. And also, the rain is coming. So there's that to contend with as well, as Lando Norris is now behind us and directly up our gearbox. So that's another position we're going to have to look to defend in this Grand Prix, as we get a huge moment out of the Degner 2 there. So some struggling for the power around this track on some of these corners, especially at the hairpin, the last corner, and that Degner 2 exit the curb. Really I'm struggling to get the power down all weekend at those corners, and it was really just, I had no confidence in this car around this track. It really was quite shocking, to be honest. Didn't realise I was this. I don't know if it was me just on this poor at Japan. I wasn't sure what to make of it, as Norris is now having a look at 130R, not quite alongside us, so we sweep round, and now Lando's going to have the track position into turn number 1. We are still within Kevin Magnussen's DRS, so we did manage to stay within that 1 second gap. You can see how much time we just lose coming from the last corner on the run to turn 1. And we're really no match for the AI in this part of the track. Norris going to look up the inside. We turn in, but he hits us off the track, actually. So a really aggressive move from Lando Norris. He was having none of it. He's shoved us off. We left him the space if he wanted it, and he took it, and more. So he shoved us off the track. That's that's just that kind of day. And really, wonder if the stewards would look at that. But at the end of the day, we don't really have the pace to compete with Lando Norris anyway. So that's really unfortunate for us, as now we have Kimi Räikkönen behind us in the Alfa Romeo, and he is next on our list of being under pressure. So yeah, it's really I feel, you almost feel powerless when you're in this spot, when just car after car is queuing up. You can see the queue on the minimap just queuing up behind us, and you can see Danny Kvyat's coming back to the pack as well, and he was someone who we were fighting with earlier in this Grand Prix. He's starting to really close in. Sebastian Vettel is all the way back there. You can see on the minimap he's coming into the hairpin now. He's probably got a new front wing on that car though, so he could be coming back at the pack quite hard, as now we come into the chicane, and we are going to be under pressure from Kimi Räikkönen now. So just not much we can do about it. He's got DRS. Start of lap 15 here, and Räikkönen's going to go through. He's on the inside, and he's got the position into the corner already. And Räikkönen goes a bit wide at turn 1. We thought about going back up the inside, but he closes the door, and that is Räikkönen into position number 9. At this point, I thought I was, I couldn't even hold on for the points. Now on lap 16, here comes Lance Stroll. He's going to come through on us this time around, and he gets the job done as well. He also goes a bit wide. There's something about the AI in turn 1 at this track, especially when they're overtaking, that's got to be fixed. They either dive like the way Lando did, they just dive it up, or they, have moments. Anyway, coming to the next lap. So this is the very next lap. Lucas Weber is now right behind us, and also is our teammate Sergio Perez up the inside. So Perez gets 2 into 1. He gets past me and Lucas Weber. So brilliant move from Sergio Perez to get past Weber and myself. So that's 2 positions for Perez. We drop back to P12 now. And you can see though, the rain is starting to come. And I thought, let's make a bold move. 10 laps to go. These hard tyres are finished. Every man and their dog is overtaking me into turn 1. So I'm going to come in and put the intermediate tyre on, take a gamble. Hopefully it rains hard enough. If you remember back to Hungary, the rain came down straight away, and it was within 30 seconds you had to be on the intermediate tyre. So I've come in to put new intermediate tyres on. We're coming out just behind Sebastian Vettel, and Robert Kubica. So Vettel's caught up to the back of Kubica, and Grosjean's a little bit further ahead. But you can see just coming out the pits, there is absolutely no grip on these tyres. And yeah, moving to lap 19 now, you can see how much time we've lost to Vettel. You can see just can't even get the power down. And look where Vettel and Kubica are. They're coming through they're on their way to the spoon curve now as we're sliding through Degner. I'm going to try and get the power down here as well. Oh, lost the back end, chucked in the barrier. We are out of the Japanese Grand Prix. That is our race. So that was the Japanese Grand Prix, with your victor being Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari, and with Vettel not scoring any points here today, Leclerc extends his lead in the drivers' standings, and now Vettel has fallen to third, 27 points behind. Leclerc leads the championship by 22 points, with Hamilton 45 points behind. We are sitting 8th place. Looks like we're going to have a bit of a battle towards the end of the year with possibly Norris if he can score enough points, and maybe Weber. Perez looks like he's got best of the rest all sewn up in his Toro Rosso. He's now in the Toro Rosso car. So hopefully maybe with Perez at the wheel of our car, we can make a challenge towards Racing Point. You can see we've dropped to 7th in the Constructors. It's going to be very difficult with only a few Grand Prix left, but we're going to hopefully try and be able to finish 5th maybe in the championship. So yeah, disappointing race for us today. Just was the worst Grand Prix for me of the year. I felt like I had no pace, and yeah, just really weird. Just couldn't get anything. Nothing seemed like it was going right for me that weekend. So we'll have to regroup for the next race in Mexico, and hopefully that's a bit of a better track for us. I never really have enjoyed the Japanese Grand Prix for whatever reason. Always struggled around it. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys for the next video at Mexico. Goodbye.